Welcome back, and now for the news in detail. Pakistan says India has been invited to initiate a review and reconsideration proceedings in Indian spy Bulletin JADHAV's case. JADHAV was a serving Indian raw officer when Pakistani forces arrested him in 2016.
At a press conference, Pakistan Foreign Office's Director General South Asia and SARC, Zahid Hafiz, said India must not politicize JADHAV's case. He said Islamabad has asked New Delhi to cooperate with Pakistan and respects judicial process in the case. Hafiz said Pakistan implemented the decision of the International Court of Justice by twice granting consular access to JADHAV. Additional Attorney General Ahmad Irfan said New Delhi requested that an Indian lawyer should be allowed to represent JADHAV for a new petition, but he said only a Pakistani lawyer with a license to appear before courts could represent the naval officer. He, however, said a legal team from India could come and assist the Pakistani lawyer for the case. Pakistan promulgated review and reconsideration ordinance on May 20th, allowing for the filing of a review petition within 60 days. In 2017, the serving Indian naval commander and intelligence agency raw operative confessed to espionage and acts of plotting and facilitating terrorism in Pakistan after his arrest in the country.
For more on this, we have contacted General Naeem Khalid Lodi, retired. Thank you for your time. First of all, the Indian Army serving spy agency operative and naval commander Kulbhushan JADHAV was caught red-handed, but Pakistan allowed all the domestic and international legal procedures to be followed. How would you react to India's politicization of the issue?
I think they are unnecessarily trying to politicize it and trying to insert other angles in it. We have exactly gone according to the verdict of International Court of Justice. They said that we should give them consular access. We have given it twice. They said that he should be given a right of appeal. That has been given. In fact, a special ordinance was promulgated to accommodate that thing. The only sticking point is that they are saying that a group of Indian lawyers will come and plead his case. That is not possible because in Pakistani courts, only those lawyers can come who hold the Pakistani license to appear in the courts. And Pakistan has also said that yes, your people can come and assist that lawyer, whosoever will represent his case. But I think it is just an intransigence on their part that they are trying to pull and push the things in other directions. Actually, they want to save the life of a person who has accepted everything, and everybody knows it, and the world is convinced, we are convinced that he was a proper spy, spying for, and a person in uniform. So he actually is likely to get death sentence, and they are trying to, their best just to prolong it and just to decide it and all that. But I think we are going according to the law and whatever instruction the International Court of Justice has given.
So, General Lodi, despite JADHAV's refusal to file a review petition, Pakistan has invited New Delhi to initiate review and reconsideration proceedings. So, what do you believe could be the reason behind JADHAV's refusal?
As far as I think he's you can say a little disappointed with what the government of India is doing, because he had done, according to him, it appears from his body language also, that he thought that he has rendered immense services to his country, and he definitely deserved much better treatment as far as their government is concerned. That they have nearly abandoned him. Of course, they went to international court and all that, but whatever the follow-up actions are required, they're not taking any interest in that. And that could be one reason that this man is totally disappointed, and he doesn't want to take part in any proceedings hereafter.
So how do you believe Islamabad's extra efforts to ensure justice to a spy who confessed heinous crimes against Pakistan should be received in the international community?
I think Pakistan can ask, on the sidelines of International Court of Justice that this is what has happened. They should give a complete review of all the events that took place after the verdict was given. They should tell them that twice the consular access was given. They should tell them that we are offering them, the services of lawyers, and we should also tell them that we have also asked the Indians they can send their team to assist that lawyer, and that JADHAV has not submitted a review petition. All these things should be brought in the notice of international court, and then we should proceed according to our own law.
Thank you for your time, General Naeem Khalid Lodi, retired. I really appreciate that. And now moving on, Pakistan's Prime Minister Imran Khan has asked world leaders to brainstorm together for a way to provide relief to unemployed laborers worldwide. Speaking at the International Labour Organization's virtual global summit on COVID-19 and the world of work, Khan said the pandemic has jeopardized survival of the already vulnerable laborers. The Prime Minister said Pakistan understood it could not lock down the entire economy as it would starve workers to death, which is why Khan said he came up with the strategy of smart lockdowns, all while keeping livelihoods of daily wages and laborers afloat. The Prime Minister praised the ILO for the timely, crucial initiative. In Afghanistan, at least 7 security officials have been killed and 20 others wounded in 2 separate attacks claimed by the Taliban. The first attack was a suicide car bombing in the southern Kandahar province, which killed 3 policemen and wounded 20 others. In the second attack, 4 policemen were killed in a landmine blast in Ghazni province. Police chief of Ghazni's Dayak district was also among the killed. Earlier this week, President Ashraf Ghani warned that continued attacks with the Taliban pose serious challenges to the peace process. A complete shutdown is being observed in occupied Kashmir to mark the 4th martyrdom anniversary of freedom fighter Burhan Wani. In a statement, Hurriyat leaders paid a rich tribute to the martyred leader. They say Wani symbolizes the unrelenting resistance of Kashmiri people who are waging a struggle for the right to self-determination. This report has the details. Indian-occupied Kashmir, one of the most militarized places on earth, has been the scene of the worst violence over the past 73 years. It has seen many who raised voices against India's illegal occupation killed or terrorized at the hands of security forces. And Burhan Muzaffar Wani is at the top of the list. He had become an icon for Kashmiri youth through his social media warfare against occupying forces. Fearing him as a direct threat to India's illegitimate rule over Kashmir, New Delhi imposed a bounty of over $20,000 on his head in August 2015. 4 years ago, Indian forces martyred Wani along with his 2 friends in an operation in the Bamdura village. Large crowds from across occupied Jammu and Kashmir came out to mourn his death. His death led to a wave of protests during which hundreds of people were brutally killed by Indian forces. Over 12,000 Kashmiris were arrested in the next 2 months to snub the protests. Indian atrocities in Kashmir have once again intensified since New Delhi stripped the region of its autonomy in August last year. 192 people have been martyred and another 1,300 wounded during the 11-month-long siege of the valley. Meanwhile, in Pakistan, 83 more people have died of COVID-19 overnight, raising the toll to nearly 5,000. The Health Ministry says nearly 3,000 cases were detected in the last 24 hours, taking the tally to over 237,000. The ministry said nearly 141,000 people have recovered from the virus so far. It said over 2,000 patients remain critical. The southern province of Sindh is badly hit by the virus with nearly 98,000 infections, while Punjab has reported over 83,000 cases. The US has recorded 60,209 cases in the past 24 hours, taking the toll to nearly 3 million with over 131,000 deaths. In the virus epicenter, Latin America, Brazil has registered over 1,250 deaths overnight, while almost 900 lost their lives to the disease in Mexico in a day. The deadly virus has so far killed over 543,000 people and has infected 11.7 million. This report has more.
When the world thought it had seen off the peak of COVID-19, the pandemic has relapsed, forcing countries to roll back their plans to return to normalcy. Outbreak is most aggressive in the Americas, where the US is registering one record spike in cases after another. While Brazil and Mexico continue to be the worst hit nations in Latin America, the virus is now spreading fast in countries like Peru and Argentina.
It's a little more in the suburbs than in the city of Buenos Aires. We thought that this would saturate the system. You have to remember that these are patients in a grave condition. They don't just stay 2 or 3 days in therapy. They're prolonged hospital stays for 2 or 3 weeks.
In the African continent, the situation is getting equally worse, with South Africa reporting over 10,000 cases every day. Nigeria and Ghana too are struggling to contain the spread despite restrictive measures. After declaring victory over the virus, health authorities in 7 Arab countries have now confirmed new cases and deaths. Over in Australia, New South Wales has banned citizens from its bordering regions with Victoria State.
Can I say an important reminder for all of us that we have to get past this public health bushfire and get back into a position where we can start to open up again and start to repair the very significant economic damage that has been done. And that won't be a quick process in any part of the country.
In Asia, South Korea's daily new virus cases have bounced back to above 60. Meanwhile, China has reported 7 new cases yet again around Beijing, following a day when no new cases were found.
More stories to follow right after a short break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Moving on, China says it is ready to join arms control talks with the US and Russia if Washington agrees to reduce its nuclear arsenal to Beijing's level. China's Foreign Ministry Chief for Arms Control, Fu Kong, said Beijing will join the dialogue, but it knows Washington will not agree to the measure. Talking to reporters, Fu asserted that the US is asking China for participation in talks is nothing but an excuse to walk away from the treaty extension. He said the real purpose is to get rid of all restrictions and have a free hand in seeking military superiority over any adversary. The new START is the only arms control treaty between Russia and the US which expires in February. Moscow wants to extend the pact by another 5 years, but Washington has been advocating a trilateral arms control deal with both Moscow and Beijing. In the past, Beijing has refused to discuss the new START, arguing it has only a fraction of nukes wielded by the US and Russia. Russia and China have vetoed the UN Security Council resolution for extending the cross-border humanitarian aid in Syria for a year. Diplomats said the other 13 members of the council voted to approve the draft. The resolution would have allowed aid to continue to pass through 2 points on the Turkish border without interference from Damascus. Diplomats said Syrian allies Russia and China only want to approve 1 Turkish crossing for aid access for 6 months. A Russian envoy to the UN, Vasilina Benzia, said there were flaws in Germany and Belgium proposed draft.
To continue cross-border in Northwest, and for that purpose we tried to explain how we see it continue. It didn't work out in the resolution that was not adopted, but we introduced our own text, which we circulated recently.
Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah has accused the U.S. ambassador to Lebanon, Dorothy Shea, of acting like a military ruler and inciting sectarian strife. In a televised address, Nasrallah said Shea is inciting Lebanese officials against Hezbollah and pushing Beirut towards internal strife and civil war. He accused the U.S. embassy of attempting to starve Lebanon, prevent investment in the country, and scare off foreign investments. The Hezbollah leader called on Lebanese to rise up and defend the country against Shia's actions. Shia was embroiled in a diplomatic spat after a Lebanese judge banned media outlets from interviewing the US ambassador to Beirut. Moving on to Serbia, where the clashes between protesters and police have erupted after thousands of opposition supporters stormed the parliament building in the capital Belgrade. This report has the details.
The demonstrators were protesting against the lockdown plan for the capital this weekend to halt the coronavirus spread. They attempted to force their way into the building as security forces set up a cordon in front of its entrance. The demonstrators lit flares and threw stones at police officials and chanted for President Aleksandar Vučić to resign. The police used tear gas and mace spray to disperse the demonstrators. This comes after President Vučić said stricter measures, including the lockdown for Belgrade, would be introduced because of surging coronavirus infections. Opponents blamed the outbreak on the government and said people should not pay the price for another lockdown.
Three people have died and 24 were injured in a head-on collision between two trains in northwest Czech Republic near the border with Germany. In a statement, an emergency services spokesman said helicopters and fire brigades are taking part in the rescue operation. The railway official said an investigation has been launched to ascertain the cause behind the accident. Local media said some passengers sustained serious injuries. Turkey and Italy have agreed on the need for a political solution to the Libya's conflict. In Ankara, Turkish Defense Minister Hulusi Akar and his Italian counterpart Lorenzo Gireni discussed the regional developments. Akar said Ankara share common and similar views with Rome on several issues. He said security and defense cooperation between the countries will benefit the Mediterranean region. Gireni said all the parties need to work together to achieve stability in the Mediterranean. Relations between some NATO members have soured over Libya as Turkey has accused France of backing Khalifa Haftar's forces. The European Union recognizes the GNA, but there are also differences between the member states. The death toll from the fuel truck explosion in northern Colombia has risen to 11. 52 others were injured in the incident. Officials said a crowd gathered around the overturned tanker to fill up the fuel when the vehicle burst into flames. The tanker, carrying 5,000 gallons of oil, lost control on the road east of Barranquilla near the town of Pueblo Viejo. Police said residents carrying plastic containers from the nearby town had gathered to extract oil from the tank warnings. But Barranquilla's Secretary of Health and Rescue Humberto Mendoza said some of the victims have severe burns and the death toll may rise further.
The injuries are burns of more than 30% of the body surface, exactly between 40 and 99% of the body surface. This generates a reserved prognosis. The injuries are very serious and generate a risk of acute kidney.
In Pakistan, the fourth death anniversary of renowned philanthropist and social worker ABDUL EDHI is being observed across the country. Twitter is all abuzz with tributes pouring in from all over, recalling the acclaimed philanthropist who devoted his life for the poor segments of the society. This report has the details.
ABDUL EDHI, the man behind the world's largest volunteer ambulance network, transcended social, ethnic, and religious divisions while serving the humanity. On his fourth death anniversary, people across the region and beyond are remembering him as a real hero. Born to a family of traders in Gujarat, EDHI arrived in Pakistan in 1947. Known for his ascetic lifestyle, he was often referred to as the richest poor man. For more than 65 years, the EDHI Foundation has been running clinics and orphanages across Pakistan. EDHI was honored with several awards for his selfless services in the cause of humanity, both on the national and international levels. By the time of his death, EDHI was registered as a parent or guardian of nearly 20,000 adopted children, of whom he was an active caretaker. Pakistan's government honored him with a state funeral before he was laid to rest. He was honored with a state funeral before being laid to rest at the EDHI village near the port city of Karachi.
The US electric car maker Tesla had its best month for South Korea in June, selling 2,827 vehicles. Another 4,000 to 5,000 South Korean customers have the Model 3 on order. Why Koreans are obsessing with this car? What in this report?
Tesla Incorporated is having a moment in South Korea, particularly among the tech-savvy professionals who have relatively been unscathed by the pandemic. Kang Sung-mo says he bought a Tesla Model 3 in December, ditching the Hyundai crossover he bought only last summer. Sung-mo says he is not interested in cars, but definitely enjoys the comforts of this new innovative model.
After I press this lever twice, the car will move itself even if I don't put my hands on the steering wheel or foot on the pedals. I can get easily tired when I drive in the countryside for shooting or to Swan, where my parents live, and get stuck in traffic. But the self-driving feature reduces fatigue.
The automaker has additionally benefited from free advertising from a popular Korean actor, Yoo Ah-in. Known for his sense of style, Yoo drove his Tesla Model X SUV to go grocery shopping on a reality show aired last month. This had led to a spike in orders for the vehicle. Another Tesla owner, Kim, says the benefits and emotional appeal of the technologically advanced brand are worth it.
Tesla car owners say the usual petrol engine car is Galaxy and Tesla is an iPhone. Many people use iPhones for emotional reasons. As I've been driving Tesla myself, I can say there are a lot of emotional aspects with Tesla.
Ahead of the BMW 5 Series and the Audi A6, the Model 3 is now the country's number 2 imported vehicle, just behind Mercedes E-Class.
And now the weather situation from around the globe. And that's all for now. With the latest updates, you can follow us on social media at Indus News.